The first thing I'm going to go through is the types of samples. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over the ones that are highlighted in yellow on the left. All right, so the first one is simple random sample, okay? So simple random just means anything that you can think of that's completely random and not a specific pattern. So every time you see, most likely this will be, you'll have a computer generator. That's going to be simple random. Anything where the members are chosen use a method that doesn't give everybody an equal opportunity to get picked, or everybody has an equal opportunity to get picked, okay? So that's going to be simple random. So as you can see, the dots that are highlighted in here, completely random, okay? Systematic, okay, means that there's a pattern, okay? So a pattern, you'll see every third person, every fifth person, and so on. Okay, so there'll be some type of pattern to how you're picking people. Okay, these two here are going to be the most confusing, okay, to get them mixed up with each other. Stratified is me taking groups or one big group and dividing it into multiple groups, and I'm picking a couple from each group. Okay, so that's like me picking 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and 2 seniors. Okay, so I'm splitting Norcross into freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, and I'm picking a couple from each class. Okay, the next one is cluster. Cluster is making those same groups, so now we just split them this way. Okay, same thing. So I'm still splitting into freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Okay, but now I'm only picking one specific group. Okay, so instead of picking 2 from each and stratified, I'm picking one whole group and just sampling them, and that is cluster. Okay, so both of these you're splitting into groups. Stratified, you're picking a couple from each. Cluster, you're picking one group from the groups that you split into. Okay, convenience, keyword here is easily accessible. So something that's easy for you to get data from. So let's say I am trying to do a survey and I pick the first 3 people that walk into school that day. That's convenience because it's easy for me just to get it done. Okay, self-selected, this one's easy. This one, people are volunteering to take your survey. Okay, so it's like me sending out an email and saying, hey, come take this survey. Like the junk emails that you always get, you are volunteering to take those surveys if you take them. So their volunteers is self-selected. Okay, so these 6 of these are what you're going to be choosing for these problems to be between. Okay, so every time I ask for types of samples, you're going to pick between these 6. Okay. All right, these examples. The officials of NFL want to know the players how they feel about the proposed changes to the NFL rules. They decide to ask a sample of 100 players. So part A, you have part A, you have part B, and you have part C here. So part A says the officials choose the first 100 players who volunteer their options. Okay, now keyword here is volunteer. Okay, so this one is going to be self-selected. Okay. B, the officials randomly choose 3 players from each of the 32 teams. Okay, so they're choosing 3 from each of the 32 teams. So that's like me saying all the NFL players are in here. I'm splitting this up between 32 teams. So let's say each box represents a team. I'm going to pick 3 from here, 3 from here, 3 from here, 3 from here, 3 from here. Okay, so picking a certain amount from a total amount of teams is stratified. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Okay. C, the officials have a computer generate of a list of 100 players from a database that includes all of NFL players. Keyword here is computer generator. This one's going to be simple random. Okay. The next group we're going to go over, so this was types of samples. Now we're going to go over experimental and observational studies. So this one's a little bit different. So you are explaining whether each situation is experimental or an observational study. So a teacher asks her students to write down all they eat in a day and then calculate the total number of calories consumed, okay? This is going to be observational. It's not experimental because you do not have 2 groups. Usually with experimental, you have 2 groups. One is going to be the control and one's going to be the experimental group, okay? You do not have 2 groups here, okay? You're not saying one person needs to write down what they eat and then the other person does not need to write down what they eat, okay? So the first thing we did was types of studies, so types of samples. So on second page, the next one, number 2, a marine biologist visits a certain beach in Florida every year and counts the number of eggs in a turtle's nest. This will also be observational. Okay. Number 3, the cafeteria manager of a high school wants to find out if prices are keeping students from using the cafeteria. 50 students are chosen at random to receive half-price lunch passes every day for a month. The manager then records the passes used. This is going to be experimental because they give 50 students passes, okay? So let's see. 50 students are getting passes, whereas the other students are not. Okay? So this one's going to be experimental because you have 2 different groups going on. You have kids who don't have passes and kids who do have passes for lunch. Okay? The other types that we're going to go over today are biased and unbiased. All right? So biased is when you're favoring a certain group. Unbiased means you're not favoring a certain group to get your results. Okay? So for number 4, it says, a member of the cafeteria staff asks every 5th person leaving the cafeteria to rank 5 vegetables from their least favorite to their most favorite. She finds that the favorite vegetable is corn. This is going to be can't spell today. This is going to be unbiased, okay, because she's not favoring a certain amount of groups. She's just asking every 5th person who walks into the cafeteria, okay? Number 5, a real estate agent surveys people about their housing preference at an open house for luxury townhouses. He finds that most people prefer townhouses. This is going to be biased because he's favoring people who are showing up to a townhouse, open house, to ask what type of houses they prefer. Okay, of course they're going to say townhouses. They're there to visit a townhouse to buy. Okay, so that means bias. So biased is favoring a group, and unbiased means that everybody gives an equal opportunity. It gives you more of a true statement. Okay, so the 3 types of different things that we went over today, write down what you're going to see on your test, okay? So I will say what to look for. So I will say choose whether this question is biased or unbiased. And then I'll give you another question that says, choose whether this statement is experimental or observational. And then I'll give you another question that says, which type of sampling is this statement below? So I'm going to tell you whether, so you're going to have your 6 types of sampling. Okay, so you're going to see that on your test. You're going to see observational versus experimental. And then you're also going to have biased versus unbiased. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, so my question, so questions will give the category. Okay, so I will tell you if you need to pick a sampling. I will tell you if you need to choose between observational and experimental, and I will tell you whether you need to choose between biased and unbiased. Okay, you just need to know which one is which out of the statements I give you.